So tonight we are going to talk about a bottle that's been creating quite a buzz within the bourbon community. A lot of people are saying this will be a contender for Bourbon of the Year, and that's a pretty strong statement considering it's coming from a distillery that's, a little lesser known and a bottle that a lot of people haven't even heard about yet. We're talking about Rebecca Creek Double Barrel Spanish Oak. I'm Tuck and this is Bourbon Broke. So Rebecca Creek Distillery was founded in October of 2009. They're based out of San Antonio, Texas, and they have a distribution of 17 states. Now this bottle right here comes in at 123.3 proof, but from my understanding, they can range anywhere from around 122 up to about 128 or 129 proof. Now as far as the age on this, I'm going to say around 6 years. And the reason I say it like that, they say it can be aged up to 4 years in Spanish oak barrels, and then another 2 years in regular white American oak barrels. Now what's interesting about those Spanish oak barrels is that Spanish oak is a softer wood and more porous wood, and which means that distillate can get into that wood a lot more, especially when that heat comes up in Texas, where it gets very hot down there. When it gets hot, that wood will expand. That distillate gets into that wood a lot more. Then when it cools down, comes back out and goes back in, that's where that flavor comes from. And you'll see this thing is really, really dark on here, so you can tell it spent a lot of time in that wood. It looks like a bourbon that's been aged a lot more than 6 years. Just looking at it, you would swear it's, 10, 12, 15 years, but it's, around 6 years. Now, as far as the suggested retail price on this, it's around $65. However, maybe if you can find it in one of the 17 states that they have distribution in, you may be able to find it around there. But the other states, you may have to go to an online retailer or someone, and I just looked on there before the episode, and I saw anywhere from about $129 up to $279. So it's getting quite a bit on that aftermarket secondary pricing out there. So anyway, I have not tried this. I poured out a little bit in the Glencairn about an hour and a half ago to let it open up, air out a little bit. And with all the hype on this one, I am really ready to get into it. So let's see how it is. Okay, so let's see if everything I've been hearing about this bottle holds true. See what the nose is like. Man, this is a dark whiskey. So dark. Oh. Wow. Without question, right off the bat, one of the best noses I've had on a whiskey in a long, long time. Wow. Wow, I think I swirled around, got a little bit on my lip, tried to lick it off, see what that taste is like a little early. But the nose it's just dark. It's like a dark caramel coffee. It's like, but what's weird, I don't even know if this is possible, but it's creamy on the nose. I can almost taste the creaminess just on the nose. It's like if you took a dark molasses, put it in a cappuccino, that's exactly how it smells. Just a little bit of a spice in there, you can tell. A little bit of oak. Not as much oak as I thought there would be, considering the softer Spanish oak wood in there, but I do get a little bit of oak. Man, that's good. Wow. It's just a dark creaminess. Unbelievable. I really hope that transfers over to the palate because the nose on this is just unbelievable. Wow. Okay, let's see what it's like on the palate. Wow. Definitely transfers over to the palate. This does not drink like 123.3 proof. If I did this blind and didn't know, I would say it was around maybe 105, 110. man, it has a little bit of a spice on there, a little bit of a bite, but I mean, literally just the perfect amount. That dark molasses comes through on the palate, and it's like almost a pecan in there as well. It's like, in that, I believe it was the last episode I did, yeah, when I was talking about how I made my simple syrup, how I didn't just use white sugar, I also used brown sugar in it. I do the same thing when I make my pecan pie, and this is what it reminds me of, because it has that really dark brown sugar, caramely taste in there, but there's still like a little bit of a dark chocolate. And I've had pecan pie where they have dark chocolate chips in it. I think there's a name for it. I don't really know what it is, but it's pecan pie with dark chocolate chips in there. And this is what it tastes like. The wood comes through a little bit more than on the nose. Wow. Wow. I can only describe this as really like a really dark pecan pie. But it doesn't have that intense sweetness a lot of pecan pie does. It has that flavor without the intense sweetness. You replace that sweetness with a little bit of a spice on there. Holy crap. Like how I said crap instead of shit. In case there's kids watching. Wow, that's so good. I can't even imagine how this is going to be once this bottle's open a little bit and it opens and airs out more. Holy moly. And I keep smelling it, as much as I am drinking it and putting it on the palate, because the nose is just so fantastic on there. Just a nice viscosity that just coats the tongue. So creamy. On the back end, on the finish, I get more of the oak. That's where more of that oak comes through at, a lot more than just on the nose or the palate. I notice the oak a lot more on the finish. And everything just follows through from the palate to the finish on there. Wow. This is really, really good. For a bottle and a distillery that's really not that well known, this is fantastic. I mean, they really hit a home run with this. And something interesting that I heard on this as well, the master distiller down there actually said that the Spanish oak barrels was a mistake. They thought they were putting them in American oak barrels. That's what they had ordered. They accidentally got Spanish oak barrels, and when that distillate went in there, that's when they realized, hey, we have Spanish oak barrels here. But it was already in there. They just went ahead and left it in to see what it was like. And they also put barrel staves in the barrels as well. And mistake or not, I hope they realized what they did and continue to put this out, because this is a freaking home run. Wow. Now, I said at the start, people were talking about this being a contender for Bourbon of the Year. I can see that, absolutely. And there's been some good bottles that come out this year. But I would love to do a blind on this one. I'm sure I will more toward the end of the year when I come up with the, Bourbon of the Year. But wow. Now, like I said, from my understanding, the MSRP on this suggested retail price is around $65. But I saw it online for like $129 up to $279. I would pay $129 for this in a heartbeat. If the MSRP was on this at $129, I'd be like, yeah, that's a good deal. Now you get a lot higher than that. I don't know if I would pay the $279 for it. Probably not that much for it. But I might even go up. I've bought bottles for, $190, like some 4-Gate or the 2XO Gem of Kentucky. And I would take this any day over either of those. So, how much would I pay for it? The price is probably going to go up the more I drink it. But if I could only get this again for $129, I wouldn't hesitate to pay the $129 for it. It is that good. This is so good. So, anyway, I guess my final thoughts are, this is a fantastic bourbon. Fantastic. I mean, that dark caramel, cappuccino type creaminess on the nose, that, dark pecan pie on the palate, then you get more of that oak coming through on that finish. This is, right up my alley. I know everyone's palates are different, but this is an absolute home run for me, an absolute home run. So I can't wait to get into a little bit more of this. But if you see it out there, don't mind paying the price, maybe on online retailers, or if you can find it in your state, if it's in the distribution for around the 65, this is an absolute must-have. You don't pass this one up. It's great. Well, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I did drinking it. If so, please hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell. It doesn't cost you anything at all, and it truly does help me out. If you'd like to check out some Bourbon Broke merchandise, just go to bourbonbroke.com, go to the store, and check out everything I have on there. That's it for tonight, and as always, keep your friends close and your bourbon closer. Cheers. I don't have any cheers. Gotta get some more in here. Cheers.